No, I don't. Oh. What position do you play basketball?
If I don't
Okay,
have
I'm
enough books,
trusting
I'll
you,
order
right?
more. I don't have enough books, do I?
Oh,
I'll order more.
Okay.
So, and I definitely didn't print enough agendas, but maybe share these, take one and pass them.
Oh, but give me one.
Of course.
Okay, so first, thank you guys so much for coming. I'm gonna set a timer for us for 30 minutes, because I really feel like you do your best thinking and you do your best work under pressure. Who else feels that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? When you're under pressure, that's when you can crank stuff out. So I think we're gonna probably share in that and do our best thinking when we're under pressure for 30 minutes. So really the purpose of this committee is to start looking at some of the feedback that we're getting and just get fresh ideas about improvements that we can make. And they're really for teachers and obviously to trickle down to our scholars in the work that we're doing. So what I'm hoping typically the agenda will look like is we are reviewing our norms that we're going to create today as a committee. Then we'll do a little bit of a book study with our Good to Great book that you all just got. Then we'll take a look at an existing system in our school, so something that already is happening. Carline, Wednesday clubs, things like that. And we'll just really just brainstorm things that we can do to improve them. Then if we have time, I will take suggestions for new systems that our school could use. And that would be something that the team has identified. And then we'll have our little closure. Sound good? Okay. Before we get started, tell the person next to you one thing that happened today for you, like the most important thing that happened in your day today. Go. Anything. Tell a funny story if you want.
So as long as it's flat land safe.
Alright guys, so the reason I really wanted you to get a chance to do that is I know like these days are long and you're adding to your day by coming here, so I wanted to give you a chance to just like reflect on your day, get it out a little bit before we get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do as a committee, and we're not going to do this every time, is just create our norms. So while we're in here, what are the things we can agree upon to make sure that this is a productive committee and not just a total complaint fest, or you know what I'm saying? If it's a good to great committee, we want to make sure we're looking forward. So throw out some norms of things that might be applicable in a meeting like this. Positive. Okay.
Two positive, one negative.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Like sandwiches.
Yeah.
You don't mean that.
You ever heard of sandwich? It's like the positive, the negative, the positive.
Yeah, we don't do that.
I did a lot of parent phone calls with that.
Yeah, so
Sandwiching technique.
I was going to say constructive feedback, but both of those summarize that.
Okay. Not to be confused with Facebook feedback. What else?
Maybe one representative per team at minimum, just to help, because
Okay.
maybe all like the special teachers can't be here for some reason. It'd be nice if someone could relay the message or something.
Okay, so having a designated like team.
I feel like people will
Liaison.
come out anyway, but just in case, like it'd be nice if at least one person was at the meeting.
Okay, so representation or equal representation maybe. Emily, we're just creating norms that we can agree to while we're in meetings like this.
Maybe a safe environment, so you're okay with sharing ideas and whatnot.
So sort of the Vegas rule.
Thinking in my head.
happens in nervous stays and also happens when we talk about in this room situation. Unless it's purposefully and intentionally shared. Cool, alright, I think if we can agree to these norms, I'll make sure I have these norms with us at every meeting and we can revisit them if we need to. Alright, cool. So the first thing that I wanted to do today, other than norms, was you all got a copy of this book. I'm sorry I ran out. I'll get you, I need 2 copies, right? 2 more? 3 more? Okay. The first sentence of this book is good is the enemy of great. Basically, this book, I mean, this is not a book study group. Sorry, if you want to be part of a book club, like, I will totally start a book club with you, read Gone Girl, and all that good stuff. This is not the purpose of this committee. But I just think this is a really powerful book because it talks about companies, and it puts it in the perspective of, like, these big, big companies that are good, like Walgreens, good company. But somehow, Walgreens managed to turn from good to great. And so I want to make sure that we're looking at this committee as an opportunity for us to go from a good school, doing a lot of really good things, to a great school, doing a lot of really great things for our scholars. So just today, we're going to read the first sentence of this book. Open to the first page. I know, guys. I didn't want to overwhelm you on day one. I know it's very small print. I don't even think you're on the right page yet. Charlie, you're not on the right page.
What first page?
The right page. First page of chapter 1, y'all.
Okay, there we go. So sorry.
Okay, let's all read this together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Good is the enemy of great.
I would love to hear your thoughts on that one sentence. That's as far as we're going today. Thoughts on that one sentence? Why is good the enemy of great?
A lot of people get too good and stuff. They think it's good. They never get too good.
Untapped potential.
I just think if you're not first, you're last.
Boom.
Well, it is. If you're not good is the enemy of great. So.
Just like an attitude of complacency. Like they're like, yeah, it's fine. Being sugar that comfort zone.
Let's think about how this sentence relates to our scholars and their needs.
I think both of them are, both good and great are subjective. Because my idea of good may not be the parent or the student's idea of good. To them, they could be great. So I think they're both in the eyes of the beholder.
So having to define what great is.
I definitely agree, and I just want to add on to that. What's great for Pinnacle may not be great for Luna. For example, with our lesson plans, like my CTO is from Luna, but you have to tweak it to make it great for Pinnacle.
As far as our scholars, I think sometimes we think it's good, like once you get to good, now your students are great, but what was the struggle to get to good? Like, you know, think about getting to good could have been, a struggle.
What do our scholars need?
We need great teachers, great planning, great everything. Probably a lot of them need to get to good, so like we need to shape their absolute best that we can do for that. So they can even imagine achieving. Okay.
Awesome. All right, guys, close your books. That's most book study we're doing today. By next week, if you have time, try to get through chapter 1. Just familiarize yourself with the book. Again, if you have time. It's really not the end of the world, but it is a really great book, and we'll refer to it once in a while, so you have some time in your day. Bedtime reading, and at least it'll put you to sleep. Just kidding, guys. Okay, so like I said earlier, typically we'll go through an existing system that already happens here at Pinnacle. And so I wanted to walk you through like my idea of what that looks like, but I've already gotten feedback on this idea since 4 o'clock today. So I was going to walk you through Wednesday club transitions. Our Wednesday clubs right now, who loves Wednesday clubs? Yeah, a lot of head nods, like, it's a lot of fun for our kids, part of Wednesday clubs that gives me anxiety every single time we do it is the switching and the transitions. Right now, there's so much unsafe activity happening, especially in this back stairwell area. And I think it's to no fault of anybody, but I'm actually gonna take ownership of it because I don't think we walked through our expectations of our scholars and of our teachers before we just sort of said, switch. So what I did was created a minute by minute sort of schedule of what should and could happen during these Wednesday club transition times so that we're all sort of on the same page. And just in case I'm not here on a Wednesday, to make those announcements, we'll still be on the same page. So take one and then pass. And I'll give you 2 minutes to look this plan over. Everybody get one? You go, 20 more seconds. If you already think you know through ideas that you have, go ahead and write them down. Okay, so I know this could seem a little like I'm nitpicking, but I think that when we lay out exactly what times and what we are expecting, then there's no questions of what can actually happen. So I think the beginning we're pretty solid with. At 2:40, things are starting to get packed up, folders are getting ready to leave. 12:55, that's usually when I make that first announcement of please start getting lined up. 12:58, this is new. Those 4th grade scholars can start heading downstairs, but they should start heading downstairs through the front stairwell. What we're going to do is keep our stairs the same way they would be for community circle and morning entry. So always down the front, up the back, down the front, up the back. And then at 1 o'clock, our scholars will be dismissed from their homerooms. Then we laid out teacher actions and scholar actions, so again, there's no questions. Scholars again going down the front and up the back. And then I think the most important part is that everybody's narrating, everybody's holding scholars accountable to our typical call format, which is hands at our sides, eyes forward, like rocking carefully, and lips closed. Then I think one thing that I didn't include on here, but I meant to, was that 4th graders should only escort 1 scholar, and then they need to make it to their clubs. Because we have a lot of 4th graders sort of dilly-dallying. Yeah, we have a lot of scholars doing that right now. They're like, oh, I was just gonna take a break. No, Zachary, you should go to class. Always Zachary. And then for the rest of it, they should be there by 1:05. By 1:40, we're starting to wrap up. 1:40 is also when Justin and Charlie bring their clubs inside, so you guys can grab water. And then by 1:45, we're dismissing back to homerooms. But like I said, I already got feedback on this plan since 4 o'clock today. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this plan so that even this can be improved. Whoever wants to go first.
only because it feels like I'm exiting the club at midnight. So I'm like, oh my God. Is it possible somewhere in this first half, this 12:40 to 1 o'clock, if maybe, I know the necessity for fourth grade to escort our kinder friends, but if maybe we could transition where the first floor gets to their club, they're lined outside the classroom. Then the rest of upstairs comes in.
Thoughts?
I wrote that down too. I just wrote that down too. We had like, it was, okay, it is 12:58, it is, I think we had second and third, your time to transition to your club. And they transitioned, and it was like, at 1:02, give them like 4 or 5 minutes. Fourth and fifth grade, it's your time to transition to clubs, and they all went to the clubs. And here, because there they had trailers, so it wasn't like they could really stand outside. But here, they can all line up outside the room. And also, when we dismissed, it was second and third. It's your time to dismiss. Fourth and fifth is your time. So I think if we do it in ways like that, and I guess the necessity of having the fourth grade scholars walking, but I just feel like when we're dismissing them at the end, they're like wandering. Oh, I have a friend I'm supposed to take back, and I don't know where they're coming from. I think, is it okay now, with all the eyes that we have, for K to be able to walk back to the classroom? Or do they still need the escort?
My kindergarten has not been escorted since the first, they were the first one, they've been going by themselves since then, they're fine to go by themselves.
I'll tell a little build off of that one. Would it be easier if the teachers stayed at their classrooms instead of us transitioning at the same time and then at the very end we switched? Kind of. Because I feel like that'd be quicker because we're trying to transition with them, but really we can just stay there and reinforce like that area and then at the very end like switch.
The only problem is that you're switching at that time, there's, could be a minute to 2 minutes where the kids are in the room by themselves.
But
They're
there's,
lined up at the door.
Well, they're still waiting
They
for,
should all be lined up.
got it. Well, they just can't go into the classroom until the teacher of that club comes.
Or those who have buddy classes, like I know myself and Miss Pena, we buddy with someone. If one of us is the one that stays behind, I just gotta make sure everybody's getting there.
That way, if we're all staying, we can all be outside our doors, watching hallways, correcting the lines that are lining up. I know like mine and Charlie's group, who's downstairs waiting to go outside, I know they're like right in the middle of chaos. And I have a couple of teachers out there like, no, you should be in line. I would greatly appreciate like walking down and actually seeing the line, and I'm like, stiff army kids left and right. It's like, I'm trying to get them into the line. But I think, you know, if we're all out, we're all kind of waiting, and obviously if you're K through second grade club and that transition time is over, you probably take yours in if, you know, your club's there, but.
I just feel like it's too hectic, everybody, like it's like everybody transition at the same time.
So are we thinking that the first floor would go first? We'd have our smaller babies going first. Maybe still at, maybe we do like 12:58, is that too soon for teachers to start the transition? So maybe 12:58 and 1:02. Okay,
Are we still gonna do buddy classrooms?
what do you think? Your opinion?
I think they're fine.
You're
You've been
okay
doing
with
it,
that?
they've been doing it.
Yeah, we haven't had a buddy now.
We have too, but I think they'll be okay now.
Okay.
They make it back to the classroom by
They
themselves.
make it back by themselves.
Yeah, they come back by themselves.
And if they're not, there's other people else
Right,
stopping
right.
help, not everybody.
It's also the purpose of those passives.
Yeah. Okay.
So it would be mandatory that all teachers are in the hallway. So all of us are in the hallway. The kinders will move, or kinder first, move first, and then second. Or kinder move first by themselves, then first and second, and third and
I
fourth.
think should we just do the whole floor? Should we just do kinder first?
Should we just do hallway? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do the whole floor.
Because like I suggested, those who have buddy classrooms, like I don't mind being in the hallway while this first floor is going. Because I know Miss Mutri is gonna be in the classroom. So if they're lining up, she's managing that zone while I'm trying to make sure everyone is clear.
Okay, so 1258 first floor, 102 second floor, and like 104 teachers. Go. I like that. Okay, the other feedback, any other feedback on clubs?
I had one. At my old school, we had safety patrol. So like the kids who, let's say your kids who you said were showing the attribute of the law, that they, and only the fourth graders, because they're technically the seniors of our building. So only the fourth graders would get to be like safety patrol for a month. And we get them like, I don't know, you know, the vest sashes, the sash or something, a badge or something, makes them feel special. And let them be in the hallways as well. Because teachers can use it during as an incentive. And then, you know, they get to feel special as the seniors of the building. And they can be out in the hallway too.
And then they're passion wise,
Yeah.
like in
Maybe give it to the scholars who are like presenting good hall without the badge, like that day.
Yeah, well, I
Like you
think
saw like that.
the teachers can use it as an incentive, like, I don't know if you wanna put their names in a hat, cause you don't need that many, maybe 6 or 7. Put their names in a hat and draw them out, make it to be the safety patrol for a month or
they
however.
have a post.
Yeah, they have their own post and it's cute.
And
They
then
get to
it
just
doesn't
feel
even
special
just have to
for
be
them.
clubs, it could be in the mornings too, in the hallways.
We use them during dismissal at my old school, like, cause they know
I have
that.
Mackenzie every morning,
Take them out to the car.
he's making his rounds around. How's it going? You got candy? No.
Send that kid to class. Okay, then the feedback that I got earlier from Laura, who is going to join our committee but just couldn't make it today, she was wondering if we could just go straight from clubs to our dismissal rooms, and I wanted to hear y'all's thoughts on that.
So make the clubs the dismissal rooms?
No, they would still transition, but they would just go from their clubs to whatever room they stay in.
So third grade would go to the
Straight to
gym.
the gym.
I agree because it's, like, they already have the backpacks on.
Yeah.
They're already ready to go. It's just.
Thoughts on logistical stuff?
Sounds good, cause I was thinking, I know, when we were sitting in the room and the teacher was going back to the golf club, that's also kind of like, I mean, I don't have anywhere to go right after, so I'm fine staying there. But if someone has to go down to their other classroom, so there's that like, I guess, kind of, with the teacher not coming back yet, so.
I think with kinder babies, their dismissal room is their homeroom, it's their classroom. First grade too. For our youngest kiddos, sort of just going back to what they know anyway.
Yeah, which I like.
Do you think third and fourth grade would have an issue going from chaos to their lines?
Because me and you can get down and we'll already be right next to the gym,
Yeah.
so we can just like walk right in and like instruct that. Because we're already coming in from downstairs, getting at that bathroom.
If you're collecting the cards, are you expecting the kids to hold on to those? Because I know when I get in, I'm kind of like, let me get your cards.
What if when they walk into your dismissal room?
There's two baskets. It's like in ours, when we have kindergarten and second grade, we could just have our kindergarten puts theirs, second grade puts theirs in it. The teacher's coming in there anyway. We'll just give it to them then. I wouldn't let them keep on. It's not working back then.
Are there cards, is that template on blackboard? Because
They're
they're,
club cards.
yes.
Let me make sure I do that. Thank you.
If they paid on.
Kindergarten has been very nice.
Yeah, they do.
I actually saw a kid eating one. Okay, let's keep ourselves moving. We have about 6 more minutes in our meeting. And the last thing, you guys, thank you so much for this. I will make sure that I update it and send this out to everybody, but I'm really gonna leave it up to you, to any of your team that is not here, to really walk them through it and fill them in on it. Is that cool with everyone? Anybody feel like they need support or on explaining it? Two motions?
Can I just say one thing before we move on to the next step? For future club planning, do you think it'd be a good idea for our first grade and kinder just to switch
within the same floor. So just have clubs just for first and kinder, and then upstairs we
Age
do
level
clubs.
clubs.
Just for age
Age
appropriate
clubs.
Future
So,
reference, but
That's
yes.
that
a
would-
struggle. It's
And I mean, the process is gonna be so fast for transitions, and, I mean, maybe next semester. Everybody knows. Big change. I think we liked the idea of having like K through 4 clubs, cause they get like, they have that chance to interact and be buddies with like a 4th grader or a kindergartner. So I think we'd be losing that piece, but maybe let's keep thinking about it, and let's, come back to this at the end of this semester, closer to where we'll be thinking through.
I know I use the fun fourth graders. They run my board games with the kindergartners. If it wasn't for them, there's no way I could do that many, and that many kids. I couldn't handle it. I'd have to have a small group.
Basketball would be nice to have.
Okay, I like that feedback though. Let's keep thinking through it. Okay, last thing before we go today is y'all filled out a survey earlier this semester, well, actually just like last week, of, we called it the Great Pinnacle to Work. And we read through a lot of your feedback, and, what I want to encourage you to do for the rest of our meeting today is, read through some of these survey results. So some of the things that people really like about Pinnacle, and then some of the things that people said we could improve upon. And let's pull out some things that we can talk through in some of our upcoming G2G meetings. Good to great, guys. Okay, with the 2 minutes we have left, we could just pull out some maybe bigger picture things that you're seeing, trends, things that we should take a look at when we meet again.
The trend on the first page that I caught on to is just the family atmosphere and like all the people that work here. Everybody like gets along. That's the one thing I saw on the front page.
Anything we
Top-
can change from there?
Top of the sandwich.
Oh, I like it, just doing our sandwich, good, good.
Go ahead.
Hit me with the negative, guys.
I mean, the trend I saw, that I guess us as a committee can't change is pay, salary.
Okay, write that down though.
But where was more pay?
I see a lot of consequences for behavior, children, more support for that.
Okay.
Cause I think there's a lot of special friends in this school. But there is hope because Wiley's getting better, so there is hope out there.
I would really like to look at a parenting program, like I've seen it work, and to get them, like we said in the other meeting, the other school I worked at, their charter was written for a parenting program, so they could enforce it. Of course, we can't force it, but we can strongly suggest it, and it worked. I mean, there were always parents in the buildings, which kept the teachers on their toes, because you never knew who was in the building, or who this parent may belong to. They may be visiting a 2nd grader, but have a 4th grader, and they just never knew, so teachers were always aware and awake, and they just did so much. I mean, Wednesday clubs, if we had parents involved, just how much easier transition would be. I think it's something we should definitely, like, take a look at.
What else?
Well, I was thinking about, at my previous school, we had homeroom moms, and so the parents volunteered to do that. And so your homeroom mom, you could call her or email her and say, hey, I've got a book that needs to be stapled, can I send it home with Johnny? And you send home supplies, and they would do it and send it back. So there's a lot of, I think, stay-at-home moms that are more than willing to help out, they just don't know how to get involved.
So we will make one of these, Good to Great meetings about parenting and how we can get parents in here. I will tell you that we're doing a lot of work on sort of the back end about volunteers and how we can build our volunteer structure up right now. The challenge we're running into is like, we don't wanna put that on the teacher to start organizing because y'all are already at your capacity. And, we do have a parent liaison this year, it's Mr. Gonzalez, but he's still focused on enrollment. So we're at a place where we are all ready to talk about it, we have a whole list of volunteers ready to go. We just haven't been able to create that structure yet.
So you have to have a background check if you're a volunteer.
If you're directly working with scholars. Alright, there's one last thing in there that I know you guys, everybody in this room wants more of.
Cookies and soda? No, I just laughed when I saw it, I was like, cookies and soda?
Yeah, probably.
Taste the cookies.
Everybody loves food.
It's something I've heard, but repeatedly during debriefs.
More resources, so we can get some money for.
And the use of our, like specials or free time, not enough time during the day.
Team planning, planning time. Okay, so we were gonna make one definitely about team planning, because that is a stress that I am feeling for you guys. Alright?
I already wanna give a shout out to the specials, every time they've come in, they've asked like something, what they can do, like increase. Like, be like, oh, what can I do? Already some-
Okay, so that was just an example of our meetings, and actually we got a lot out of this one. So thank you again for coming. If you think of anything else, or if you're reading through this survey and you see anything else pop up that you would like our future meetings to talk about, just shoot me an email. Okay? Thanks for coming, guys.
Actually,
Oh, I get it. We put extras.